Welcome back to Stacking the Deck. This time we are down 1, but +2 in charisma. It's just me and Kurt Cresswell. And the +2 is me referring to myself. So.
Oh, okay. All right. You got to take the compliment from last week's episode and get the insult to this week. It's one of those compliment sandwiches. So I'll expect a compliment next week.
Yeah. But you rolled high in dexterity.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. He's really good with his thumbs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we have a action-packed week of stories and news and all kinds of fun stuff. Or we could just retell traumatic life events. It depends on how bored or, how tired we get as we discuss these items. But I think the main one, the first one that I want to talk about is this new League of Legends. They've got a TCG, it's called Project K. I don't know why. I don't know what the Project K part's associated with it, but maybe it's like been under wraps for a little while and they've just been calling it that. That's maybe like an internal name.
It is. That's what they name all of their like new IPs. Their new things are always Project something. Like their fighting game that they're going to be releasing was like Project L. This is Project K. It might just be like in order that they're created is how they're named. But yeah, very exciting that Riot Games, not really Riot Games, because for those of you that don't know, Riot Games is majority owned by Tencent, which is a Chinese company that owns basically every major game in China. So like they own that portion of World of Warcraft and Blizzard, and they own Riot Games now. They own everything. Tencent has their hand in almost every cookie jar, and a lot of those times they own the majority of the hand. Their hand is the biggest in the cookie jar.
I mean, we all wanted to ban TikTok, but meanwhile, Tencent running the gambit on games.
Games.
Nobody talks about that.
Yeah.
I think
it's good. Did you watch the video on Twitter that they posted?
I don't know which video. I watched a video. It was a long video, like the full promo.
It was the only video.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I watched that, and it was really good. It was like high production value. It's everything that I tell people whenever I've had like these little consultation calls with the indies, like what I'd want to see on their website. Like I want to see these are like basic images that need to be on your webpage or your landing page or your Kickstarter, right? Of course, you have your goals and all this stuff, but the basic thing people want to see, they want to see people smiling at a table playing with the actual cards.
Yep. Exactly.
And maybe a couple close-up shots of charts. a couple close-up shots of cards on the table as well. Depending on your game, like maybe you have like some beers and chips. Like again, it has to feel like a little lifestyle sort of photo shoot, because that's really how you sell these TCGs. Mostly, it's like they're kind of almost lifestyle products. A lot of people kind of get wrapped up in the culture of them.
Mm-hmm. And that video kind of hit every point that I wanted to hear except for one, right? They talked about the competitiveness.
OP.
They talked about organized play, and they stressed the importance of local level play.
Yeah.
Like, holy moly.
And I say that with a grain of salt, because I think a lot of games say that. I've heard that from a lot of games, but I mean, let's see what happens, what actually happens with that.
Okay. I will counter
that
Neopets,
by saying, right? I mean, come on.
Okay, well, I'll counter that by saying they also laid out plans to say store championships, city level championships, regionals,
and then maybe nationals. Yeah.
And then maybe global events, worlds.
Mm-hmm.
It could be alongside like Worlds, League of Legends. They could also have the trading card game there, whatever they decide to go with, Project K. They said that. The only thing that I didn't like hearing is that they didn't give us a date for a US release. It makes sense that it's going to China first because it's Tencent. Everything goes to China first whenever it's Riot Games involved. That's just how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they were like, with plans to release globally very soon afterwards. I don't like hearing very soon. I've been playing League of Legends since beta, since the beginning. I know what very soon means, and I'm sure you do as well. That could mean a month from now. That could mean a year from now. That was the
Yeah.
only thing that I didn't like hearing whenever they laid this out. But I think they did such a good job. Like you said, they showed us the cards. They showed us the card backs and showed that there were 3 different card backs, insinuating there are 3 different card types, right? You also saw them playing on the table, and you saw like a little deck of cards that looked like it was resources. You saw a deck of cards lined out in a line like they were prize cards or like shields from like Dragon Ball or One Piece. You know, you have those shields that get broken before you win the game. And then they showed the big deck, like your main spell deck, your main deck of cards. They showed all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really exciting. It's going to bring in so many people into the card space that probably might be card familiar, but never really got into it other than maybe collecting Pokemon cards. That's really kind of the only one that I could see with that main audience, but it's going to bring a ton of people, and just so happens that their League of Legends numbers have kind of been taking a dive everywhere but China and Korea. Everywhere else, viewership is way down, playing is way down, so they got to spice up the IP a little bit. Let's put these characters on a card. Oh, man. And it was original artwork, too, which was also great. Like, it wasn't just, like, copying, pasting splash art from the game onto cards, which I hate so much. And I know that One Piece does it, and that's one of the major reasons why I don't really like One Piece is they have good artwork, but then other times they'll just copy and paste a scene from the show onto the card. And I'm like, I don't want to see that. Like, I can just go watch the episode if I want to see that.
Yeah. I'm looking at you, Bandai.
Yeah, right. All right, not to name drop, but
Yeah.
it is 100% Bandai Namco.
Yeah. That's raw. That's the reason why I can't pick that up either. It's the card. Like, I'm just looking at pictures from the show. That's so fun. That's so cool.
I mean, I guess it would be cool if I didn't know anything about the show or I didn't watch the show. Maybe you would get more out of those cards.
No.
Yeah?
The fact that I know that it's from the show, like,
Yeah, it just makes it so much worse. Like,
Yeah.
it's lazy.
Yeah, it's like, oh, cool. So like I could have made this game at home. The main barrier is that I can't create the art myself. But
Right.
if I wanted to make a game, I could just take your pictures and put them on something and say, here's my game.
You most certainly could, but man.
So yeah, that's exciting though. I'm glad that the League folks have something to look forward to.
Well, it ain't League of Legends, so yeah, they'll have something to look forward to.
Yeah. I guess speaking of looking forward to stuff, Meta 2 dropped some news today that a lot of people are excited about. They shared their Aura wheel. It gives us something to talk about. I'll go ahead and throw this out there that Charlie Herlocker, the owner of Meta 2, shared that he would be interested, or he said he would come on our podcast at some point to talk about gameplay in particular.
Hey,
so I'm trying to like hold my reservations back. I have some ideas. I think part of the fun is to speculate on what it might be. And again, I need to be on the record for the upteenth time. This first set, no matter what they print, I'm just going to buy it. So it doesn't matter if the game sucks or if I don't like it or, MetaZoo bad. Like, I'm still just going to buy it. So
gonna buy it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But it does seem like maybe more their aura on launch is going to be like 4 colors.
That's what the wheel told us. Yeah,
a lot more simple. The symbols are a little hard. Like, I will admit, at first take, I saw green, but then in the shape of a boulder, and I was like, what is this? And I guess that's the earth aura, but I thought since it's green, it could have been forest, or maybe they're combining earth and forest. I don't know. But I think that's what they're doing, is they're like taking some aura types and just combining them. So maybe that's what they're doing there. Again,
And
speculating. Um,
that would make sense.
I think they'd combine. I mean, if there's any ores I'd combine, it would probably be earth and forest, water and frost, and then I
Yeah.
would probably combine dark and spirit.
Okay.
I feel like some people are saying, "Oh, dark and light would get combined or something," but I think they're two that they need to have kind of their own. I mean, even when you played the original MetaZoo, Spirit just felt like Dark's like little brother or
Little
whatever.
brother. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
they're like, oh, this is nice to like toss into a dark deck.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's
Looks
very
good.
interesting. They also kind of gave us like a pseudo roadmap, right? Of saying like they had the little expansion numbers underneath the color wheel of saying expansion 1, and it's a blue question mark. Does that mean we get water?
Yeah, yeah.
Expansion 2, 3, and 4. So how quickly we get these products, I don't know. They might go the typical 3 expansions a year route. They might push it out 2 a year. They might push it out all in Q2.
Yeah. So I feel like we've hyped it a little bit, but I'm going to give you like the opposite end of it.
What's there?
My only caution is that I have again, what works for me is not the same for what works for other people. I kind of like a lot of degen mechanics, but like I'd say 13 and up mechanics, if that makes sense when it comes to card games. And I wonder if this is going to be like 13 and up mechanics wise, as in like I really like counter spells, counterplay, like hand traps and things
Hand
like
traps.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think we'll probably see that in this game. And I mean that's okay too, but that's one thing that I really, and I noticed that's not really present in games of the demographic that are Lorcana or Pokemon, and I think this is going to be closer to that than maybe Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh or maybe I don't know. Even One Piece is kind of not very interactive, or at least used to not be. Maybe it's changed.
No, it's always like that. Every card in your hand has every character card has a point value that you can add on during
Oh
the
yeah,
attack
that's
and
right.
defense
That's
stage.
right. That's right. Yeah. I guess what I'm trying to say is I think that not to say Lorcana and Pokemon are not 13 and up. Like I'm not trying to belittle people that like those games because you can be an adult and still enjoy them. But I think that again, games like Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic just seem I don't know.
More mature.
Yeah, like just the skill ceiling just seems really high. I don't know.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, whenever you add an extra layer,
skill expression. I mean,
that's
that's a silly term, but it's kind of true.
Now, Lorcana has never had, hand traps, counterplay on your opponent's turn. Pokemon did. I think I've talked about this a few times, but
a set you said.
Yeah, it was one block. It was the
Okay.
Diamond and Pearl set. The Diamond Pearl Platinum block had hand traps. Had if this criteria is met, you can do this on your opponent's turn. And it, like I said, and like I've said previously, it was probably most people that were into the game at that point, it was probably their favorite block in Pokemon ever, myself included. Having that extra layer of, the main card was Power Spray. In Pokemon, you have abilities that sometimes they happen whenever you put a card into play. And there was a card called Power Spray that you could activate on your opponent's turn whenever they activated one of their abilities. You could just play it. As long as you had the criteria met for it, it would just negate their power. So they would play down a card. Oh, they're going to get all this advantage. Power Spray. Alternatively, they would play down a card, and then how quickly you could react was also kind of funny. I had the visible 1, 2, 3 during that block, and I would count to 3, and after that, if they didn't power spray me, I get the power because I gave you ample time to hand trap me. But very, very fun, very, very fun. I think hand traps, I think counterplay like that does, like you said, add an extra dimension, an extra level of thinking.
It makes it feel more competitive in my mind, and I don't know if that's actually maybe that's not the way to even phrase that. But if I'm going to a I don't know, a big high end event, I like the idea where it's it's no holds barred. You don't know what your opponent could be teching or building, and
Yeah.
I again, first set, maybe it's not important to have that mechanic either. Like you could always introduce it in expansions or do so, even as to what you know had just said. Maybe it's
Hmm.
something that's just in a particular expansion. Who
Yeah.
knows? But overall, looks cool. Like the what little graphic design I saw, even in that, looked cool. Like I like the
Yeah.
element symbols. I don't know. We'll take any news at this point. Just anything's
Except for
good.
another sign giveaway. We don't care about that, but
Yeah, yeah. That is not the sign we were looking for. You
oh
guys
my.
asked for a sign.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here it
okay.
is.
Yeah. All right.
Goodness.
But we got God packs confirmed
Oh,
for Pokemon.
yeah.
I guess that's exciting. We saw a good friend of the show. Maybe we'll get him on one of these days. But Dylan Metakai Tran uh, had cracked some God packs of the new, what is it, Terrestrial Festival?
I think that's what it's called. Yeah. The new
Okay.
EV set.
Yeah, the new Japanese EV set.
Yes, correct.
So that seems pretty big, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Good for him. It's probably a big financial come up. Knowing him, he's just it's for the sell. So
it's just
he
it's
ain't
just nice
playing
to
them and
see
he ain't
'em.
collecting them, but that's
Yeah.
cool to see.
It's just nice to see that they've kept those, those existed in, US and US packs as well and English packs as well. Most notably in like 151, you can get God packs where you will get like an entire evolution line of like the starters all in their special illustration rare variant, and it's really cool to hit something like that, right? So cool to see that they've brought that in. you know, maybe it's just people are buying the hell out of all of this because it's an evolution set, it's an EV set that we've already seen like 3, 4, 5 people post that they've hit those God packs. So maybe that means that they're a little more common than, prior sets, which is cool. I think people like hitting that dopamine and getting that rush. Now it can't happen like every box or something like that, but a little more often. But it's just nice, it's a big come up. If you're a collector, you don't have to buy the rest of the cards that you were looking to buy anyway or rip anyways. If you're a ripper and a shipper, you just made a ton of money because you get a full set of illustration rares for the price of one pack. So pretty cool. And
Yeah.
all the artwork is really sick. So gotta love it.
Well, I got a few ETBs coming, so that'll be pretty good.
Oh man.
Trying to think. So you sent me. There's been some chatter about the Secret Lair Commander deck, this $150 one. I don't know too much about it, but it has raccoons, which is awesome. The $150 part does not seem awesome, but
Yeah. that's kind of how I felt, they kind of pushed this was like their first like Secret Lair drop, and Magic Heads can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time that they have just like done a Secret Lair drop for an entire commander deck, of 100 cards. Only like 5 of them are foil, just like the regular Secret Lair drops. 5 or 6 of them are foil, but you're paying $150.
yeah, I mean, even the foils, what collectively are worth maybe $30. I don't know.
Who knows? Because they're just reprints, right? They're not functionally unique cards.
Yeah, exactly. They're like,
so
it's like, how much do you like the art of these raccoons?
I mean, and they look cool.
They do.
If anyone's seen them, it looks really cool. But
I'm a raccoon enthusiast, but even me, I'm skeptical. I'm like,
your typical commander deck MSRPs for like $45, and
even that's a stretch for me. Let me tell you.
Right.
I mean, I'm like, well, I'm gonna pay $45 to sit here with you yahoos for an hour and maybe play about 10 turns.
Yeah,
I say that as I actually like Commander. I do, but
man,
when you break it down, you're like, hold on.
That's 45 cents a card you're paying, dude.
Yeah, I know. In this
but
economy,
I don't know. 3 times that just seems excessive, all, and also important to note, all of the popular secret lair drops sell out almost immediately. Like the Marvel one sold out super quick. Most people didn't even get a chance to get it. This one is still in stock. Now they've slapped a little low in stock red little marker on it, probably trying to convince you to do FOMO because you're like, "Ooh, I better buy it before it runs out." But it's been like that for 3, 4, 5 days that it's been low in stock. So I don't know. This might be the first sort of whiff on well, most of it is a whiff, but
I wouldn't say the first
yeah, I was gonna
necessarily.
say.
But
But most secret lair drops do really well. They sell out almost immediately. They have pretty good resale value, at least in the beginning of them being released. So kind of weird. I was gonna go to the site. I got a Facebook ad for it. I went to that site. I was like, I'm gonna buy me a raccoon deck. What am I gonna pay? $50, $60, 150?
forget it,
Nah,
dude.
I'll
No
just
way,
I'll just
man.
stick with my cards I already got. Thanks,
We
guys.
got cards at home, and that's one thing that I think 95% of all the people that listen to this podcast don't get. Like once you've, especially with Goat Yu-Gi-Oh, like when you start entertaining those prices, you're like, all cards should cost no more than $1. And that dollar card, that better be the most shiniest custom foil looking card I
That's
have ever
right.
seen in my
The
life.
most uniquely foiled card, the most special edition, special printing that I've ever seen. And you're telling
$1.
me this secret layer deck, these cards cost over they're $1.50 a piece?
Yeah. That could get me like 600 Yu-Gi-Oh cards
Oh
easy.
man, 600 good Yu-Gi-Oh
Yeah,
cards.
exactly. Yeah, ones that I want.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
Oh
man.
man.
So Flesh and Blood, I don't know anything about this. You're gonna have to catch me up because out of all of these, Flesh and Blood, I'm the most lost on. And now I've played some Flesh and Blood. I think Blitz is
Mhm.
kind of fun. I also like I like it enough to play just Blitz
Yeah.
and precons.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm out on it.
So these armory decks are precons.
Oh, okay.
And they drop them for classes. There's different classes in Flesh and Blood, like mechs and light warriors and archers, all sorts of things, right? Necromancers, all sorts of different classes. These armory decks are precons, but the precons that they're putting out for these archetypes is like much needed support for the archetype, and oftentimes will elevate that archetype, that class archetype, up to the top spot for a couple of major events. And this one was no different. The most recent one was a Dash deck. I think you're familiar with Dash.
Oh yeah, Dash is
So,
the goat.
so
Dash just goes and goes and goes.
yeah. So they print even more support for Dash, and suddenly, like 6 of the 8, the regional after this armory deck drops, 6 of the 8 top 8 were Dash decks because the support is like uniquely printed. It's very good. It also reprints expensive cards that maybe came out in one set, and now suddenly instead of you having to pay $15 a card, now you're only having to pay $1 a card because it comes in the precon. Flesh and Blood does their pre-constructed products very well, and I really like that. And they put them out on a regular schedule. Usually get 3 or 4 a year, one a quarter. And then after they release them, they kind of do something similar to Sorcery, where they will have people playing with the most 2 recent precons to kind of show it off, right? It's 100% like scripted and everything, but it's good. It's good content, and I really like it. I usually pick up I don't play Flesh and Blood that often. I'd say once every couple of months I'll pick up my Flesh and Blood deck, but I'll pick up that precon for $40 and just have like a really good entry level product that I could take to a locals and do very well with. So it's cool.
Yeah, Flesh and Blood does again. I think they do events well. They do anything related to playing well. What
Yeah.
they don't do well is like the collector investor thing well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have any advice on that in particular. um, but good for people that like playing the game, I guess, right?
More alt arts.
Yeah, just give people alt arts. That should be enough, hopefully.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
I mean, we touched on MetaZoo already. I see another point here for the Wild West of the MetaZoo server, but if y'all are bored and you want some like free entertainment, go to the MetaZoo Discord, pump those numbers up, and then just watch people argue about cards. I feel like all TCG. I wouldn't say all, but most TCG Discords are probably going to be like that. It's why I haven't been to the MTG Discord.
Well, neither have
Supposedly
I.
there is one, and supposedly it's like, oh, everything's perfectly fine. But I do not.
AKA heavily filtered and moderated. And
Yeah, I don't believe that at all. Like some of the most vitriol is from Magic. Like I think there's a subreddit just based around people that hate Magic, and there's like thousands and thousands of people that are in that subreddit, and it's just them talking trash about Magic nonstop. So they exist. I'm sure they know about the Discord. I'm sure they've just been banned from the Discord and they go to that Reddit. But
knowing the MTG Discord, you probably have to submit like a photo ID in order to get access to the talking channels, and then if you speak poorly, they shoot you on site. So
yeah, I mean, they're all, let's be honest here, Wizards scumbags. They sent out Pinkertons to some dude's house who was trying to open. Did you hear about this story? This is way back. This was last year. This guy got sent a box before pre-release on accident, and he opened the box on his YouTube channel and like spoiled all the cards. And they sent the Pinkertons, which is like an independent, they're like private investigators essentially, to his address. To essentially
use the cards.
Yes.
Because of their error?
Yes.
Bro.
I hate that. That honestly, that is like, I have so many problems with that. Whatever.
Gotta send the goons out.
Yeah.
Don't spoil our product. People won't buy it if the set's bad.
Yeah. Man, they try to come up on me like that. I'm making the Branch Davidians look like a little league team.
Oh my god. Holy moly. That sounds like something that Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast would do. On their error, on their mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And then y'all correct me if I got any of that story wrong, but I'm like 99% sure like that's exactly how it went down. It's just a horrible look.
Crazy.
Anyway, sorcery's cooking. One guy, speaking of raging nerds, there's this one guy in sorcery is Facebook, one of the Facebook groups.
Facebook group.
It looks like he's become a little unhinged. So basically drawing similarities to Eric's Curiosa and Mike Waddell. I kind of see it. I kind of see
MetaZoo 1,
yeah, I kind of see it.
Yeah,
you might be onto something. One thing we don't ever talk about is how right Alan the Kraken was.
He really was.
I mean, I got that one wrong too. So maybe we should be having Alan as our guest and dump Easton instead.
Good night. We would 4-hour podcast doing lines of coke.
You know what? Though? After so many, it's like an Alex Jones thing. If you spew enough bullshit, someone's
gonna stick.
At least a percentage of it's gonna be
right. Yeah, exactly.
So
he gets a little excessive with it. I think I counted probably 100 posts over like a 2-hour period of him just saying the same thing, calling it a pump and dump and that it's a scam and you're treating these collectibles aren't collectibles, they're just toys. You're just playing with toys.
Okay, so like I said, a broken clock is right twice a day. And at the end of the day, these are toys, right?
Yeah.
They're collectibles because we associate that with it. But at the end of the day, like that's how I feel about my old MetaZoo deck. Sure, it's like collectible in the way like I could collect garbage and that could be collectible, but I actually enjoy the game pieces for what they are as well too. Like it's a functional thing I can play with. That like crypto is really popular right now, and by all means, like crypto is kind of fun to play with and buy and stuff like that. But when crypto goes to zero, it goes you have nothing.
You have nothing.
When your card game goes to zero, or when it pulls out of the market or whatever, you still have the cards. You can still play with. You still have the physical item.
Yeah.
All it takes is you and one other idiot to agree to a game,
To
and
play
all of
on
a sudden,
webcam or TTS.
yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah.
So
True.
I don't know. There's something there. That's
Mhm.
always been my justification. So whatever's a pump and dump, or it's been a long day. Okay,
A bump and grind,
yeah, I got a toddler that's just raging right now. We out here. But what was I saying? Cards are fun. Sometimes they are just game pieces. It's a bonus if they're collectible and they're worth something. That's like the icing on top, because the goal at the end of the day is you want your hobby to pay for itself.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, getting back around to the good part about Sorcery is they released merchandise, which is cool, because previously the only way that you were able to get any type of Sorcery merchandise was to go to their Gen Con booth once a year, and that was just trading card game accessories, or work for the company to get like a shirt, unless you wanted to pay like $200 for it on the Play Network, or $200 worth of like dust redeemable, credits, or like $200 for a hoodie off of the Play Network. Now they have released these for a nice affordable price. They've released binders, branded binders, which are nice. The only one prior to this was an alpha released binder that would regularly sell for $200 to $300 a piece, just because it was so scarce. Now they've released binders for like all three of their sets. They've released card sleeves, branded card sleeves that just have like the Sorcery card backs on them, which is really nice. We like that. We like protecting our cards while still just being able to enjoy the artwork on the back. Love that quite a bit. But yeah, I think they did well. I think they have enough of it that it didn't sell out instantly, so people can still go buy it, and just kind of much needed. Baby steps. Eric's curious to take baby steps.
I want the Sorcery bikini.
Well, they could take a page out of Mike Waddell's playbook and offer the Sorcery bikini and swim trunks and water bottle and coffee mug and duffel bag if they see fit.
Hey, that duffel bag. I regret not cashing in on that.
I've got one. It's in the closet.
Nice.
It's good.
Nice.
It's good.
That's a good pickup.
Yeah, it holds a lot. It holds a lot of MetaZoo cards, let me tell you.
Yeah, you have literal MetaZoo bags.
I do. I'm literally holding the bag.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's good. It's good. Even if it's worth 0, it's still a duffel bag at the end of the day.
That's what I'm saying. He gets
even
it.
when MetaZoo cards are worthless whenever they start printing the new stuff, at least they'll be proxies for my other card games, so my useless game pieces will still have value until I have to throw them in the garbage because they're not worth anything. But
at least I'm safe inside my mind.
At least they're safe inside their storage box.
All right, Pokemon Pocket. Still going strong. It still exists, everyone. It's still new stuff, new events, new things.
We love Pokemon Pocket.
Yeah. Play it if you like it.
Still making tons of money. They're being pretty regular with their event updates, giving us something new like once a week, which is really nice. I love this new competitive event they're doing where you have to get consecutive wins, which I think is really sick. It's not very many. You only had to get 5 consecutive wins in a row, but depending on who you queue into, pretty tough, especially if you haven't spent a lot of money in the game. So still pretty cool.
Easy dubs.
Yeah, easy, no problem. But no, it's really cool. I like what they're doing. I have now most of the cards, so I have stopped whaling. I don't need to spend any more money. I stopped myself, so we're okay.
Dang.
We're free
The
to play
Monopoly
now.
man said, "Hey, I've
I
cashed
have
in."
everything. Now I just got to start, joining those tournaments that they host, and then
Oh,
I'll be ready to play.
we need to start getting some money games going for MetaZoo.
Oh yeah,
Classic MetaZoo money games.
first to 10, throw
$1
down.
buy-in.
Yeah, we'll play the 4-player format.
Speaking of Pokemans, we've got McDonald's. Oh, I'm
Eh,
loving it.
really?
Ba-da-ba. Dude, you put me onto that McDonald's app. Let me tell you, a game changer. The McDonald's meta.
Listen,
I'm a shill the McDonald's app, y'all. Let me tell you. All right. This here app, there's no referral code. I mean, listen, we'll take a McDonald's sponsor because I'm all about that.
dude.
Them cheeseburgers, man. But let me tell you this, that app, you can walk away out. You can. This is what I always tell people: 2 plain cheeseburgers. That's my order. Okay, I'm kind of basic. Medium fry, $3.
$3 on the app.
Ooh.
Goodness, they're practically giving you the food away.
Oh man, that's great. And the thing is, though, you always want to comp or discount the fries because this is actually pretty suspect. When the fries cost more than the burgers, then you should probably be thinking.
I mean, you get a burger, you got to get the fries.
You gotta, but I mean, the fries, it's potato. It's just a
Well,
fried potato with salt. There's no
it's a processed potato with salt.
okay, whatever. But why are the fries costing more than the burger? I don't know.
Because they don't preserve as long if left out in the backseat of your car.
I don't know, but you've seen those burgers that they do? Like they put them in the epoxy.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, we'll check on this in 20 years.
And most of the time it just looks fine. And you're like, oh, that's so sick.
Well, that's gonna be my next collectible craze is epoxy fast food meals.
Epoxy food. Yeah. Hell yeah. Dude, I'm sure there's a market for it and it's crazy. And on top of that, you could also just do it yourself.
No, you know how I really scam people is I just open up a grading service for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Based on the preservation level,
Yeah.
the clarity of the epoxy.
Yeah.
Our graders determined that due to these 3 bubbles and that little speck of mold on your cheeseburger, we have graded this a 6 out of 10.
Don't worry, you can crack it and resell.
You can just buy another value meal and then send it back in, no problem.
Man, I'll be looking like the Beckett CEO. You hear about that guy?
Yeah.
Man, good old Beckett CEO. What's that guy up to right now?
Yeah, what's that guy up to right now? Beckett's here in Dallas.
I know, yeah.
So.
What's the Kevin Beckett? Oh, that was his name. Dang. Oh, that's too bad. That was a family business they just put out.
That's crazy. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Black labels on the rise.
It makes you think though, if one of these companies is committing fraud, surely the others aren't.
Surely.
There's no nefarious backdoor dealings happening in an unregulated marketplace like trading cards.
No way, dude. Especially whenever someone who opens up like a grading company, and then submits cards to their own grading company. I've called a couple people out on this, like on Twitter over the years. Why open a grading company and then say, oh, just submitted my cards to my own grading company? Dude, they got back perfect 10s. Well, no fucking shit, man. You own the company. Of course they're going to get perfect 10s. They'll get whatever grade you want them to put on the slab.
It's like that dog. Hell no. Hell no.
But then you try and like promote this grading service by, showing it yourself. No, that's like the worst look ever. You own the company. Like you just phone them up. Hey, I'm sending you a Charizard. It's pretty good. It's pretty pristine. I want to have a little bit of criticism for you guys. So make it a 9 this time. It's like, come on, bro.
You got to be like the actors when the actors are like, what's your favorite movie that you're in? And the actors are always like, oh, I don't watch my movies. Can't stand them. You have to be like that. Like, even if you're like a creator of your own TCG or whatever, they're like, what's your favorite card? You kind of have to be like, I don't really have any favorites.
I
They're all
love all of my
yeah.
children.
Or you can't be like, yeah, here's my one of one trophy card that I have for this company that I own. It's like,
That I own.
yeah,
Wow, cool.
I don't want to see that. Like I can already guess that you're already sitting on it, but don't show me that. Don't admit to it, please.
don't put it into existence and think I've got the only one. Who fucking cares?
Yeah, don't go there. I don't want to see your collection, Andy. I mean, and whoever.
You don't?
We know you got it, but don't show me. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious. But
All
yeah,
right.
the McDonald's, the Pokemon promotion, they've done this in the past where they did like the starter Pokemon. They've done it previous to this as well. But most recently, probably the one that everyone remembers was they did all the starter Pokemon and the Happy Meals, and some of those hollows were pretty hard to like grade, and they demanded a premium whenever they were around. It also led to people like going into the McDonald's stores and just like buying the boxes of those card packs, saying like, hey guys, I got a sealed box of 250 McDonald's packs, how much you want to pay me for them? It's like, dude, come on, man. Like, of course McDonald's is going to be the one, some kid at the McDonald's, yeah, I can slip a pack out, I can slip a box out in the garbage. I'll just bring it out and you can give me like $100 or whatever, right? Like, of course that, but there's going to be a lot of kids that show up to McDonald's because they see the cool Pikachu boxes and they want to get something that's Pokemon.
You know what? I'm team pro flip, pro scalp. Do what you got to do. Knock a 10-year-old over.
Yeah, fuck them kids.
But when it comes to McDonald's, listen, McDonald's, we need to do right by McDonald's.
That's right.
They've done right by me with the $3 burger meal. All right. So I'm gonna come out and say F them scalpers on this one.
Whoa,
okay?
You're taking a firm stance.
Yeah, usually I'm pro scalper, pro bullies, but not this time. This time.
We're standing
I'm
up.
I'm pro corporation.
For the golden arches. We will.
Somebody's got to defend McDonald's, okay? All right.
But yes, this new promotion, no U.S. release date announced. Not yet. At least.
If it's not in America, then it doesn't exist.
France only at the moment. But once it comes out,
blue.
once it comes out in the U.S., expect us to be cracking Happy Meal packs live on the podcast so you can see. And there's a Charizard card in there, so people are gonna want it. People are gonna want to crack it. Get you a McDonald's Charizard card.
See, I don't like the Happy Meal because that's the upcharge. I'm paying for that thing. That ain't in the budget, fam.
You have to. Sorry.
The funny thing is though, those McDonald's cards are never worth anything. There's a few old ones, but no, am I wrong?
I still think that.
Please tell me I'm rich because I got a bunch of them.
You got to grade them, I think, but.
Oh, okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Let me hit up my boy Kevin Beckett. He might be able to. He's actually really. Him and I are close.
K-Beck, you and K-Beck?
K-Beck, yeah.
You go do a round at Topgolf?
Yeah, that's right. Yep. We go to Bar Louie. Some $8 Miller Lights.
Oh man!
Talk about our wives and
his treat, of course.
McDonald's Pokemon cards.
Yeah, and you slip them a little box of 100 cards that hand this to your best grader, Kevin Beckett.
I slip them a Mickey, and we both get massages.
Jesus! Wow! And here I thought you were a small time card grader.
I've got connections. Okay.
Yeah. Direct connections.
Yeah, don't you forget we sometimes have Easton Evans on this podcast.
I heard he won a big tournament for medicine.
Yeah, I guess that was fixed too. You know that, right?
Oh yeah.
It was an inside job.
They just don't want to see you winning, Edward.
No, everybody's conspiring against me. I mean, look at me. I've got that Wheaties box face, right?
Dude, you could be the face of anything.
At least a missing kid on a milk carton.
If you've seen him, don't tell him we're looking for him.
Yeah. If you see this kid, give him your spoiled milk.
If you see this kid, just keep walking.
All right. Speaking of spoiled milk, Nom Nom verse support care package is here. Don't mean to be critical. Listen,
It's been announced.
I'm pro Nom Nom, but we need these cards. We need
We
them.
are
We
are
need
pro
'em.
Nom Nom. We are pro moldy potions. But
I like Vic too. I like all the folks, but I'm like, I just need the cards because
we just need the cards.
my doctor wants me to believe that I have ADHD. I think it's just a government conspiracy. But let me tell you this much: the attention span of TCG players, gamers in general. Let's just say gamers. Doesn't matter what.
Okay.
It's abysmal.
It is.
Like it is abysmal.
Enough.
And like you kind of have to ride the hype waves. Listen, if League of Legends struggles with this, that's what we just said in the beginning of this podcast. The hype has, people have moved on to other games, other things, right? So they're trying to find ways to re-engage new audiences or their former audience or even new audiences. Sure, that's like at a macro, it's a much bigger scale, but Nom Nom they need to get back in it, do something sensational to get people, kind of put them back on top of mind. The great
talking about the game, right?
I mean, there's just the Meta 2's lurking around the corner. That's the big thing that everybody's going to want. I wouldn't say it's 1-to-1, but I kind of consider Nom Nom as like a post MetaZoo closure, Kickstarter fallout type situation. I know it was in development longer, and it's not quite the same as like Cryptid Camp or even Obscurids to some degree, which all those games I've listed are different in their own right. So it's not the same, but I know a lot of folks would conflate them based on their creator's relation to the original MetaZoo.
Yeah. And they all kind of stemmed from that, right? Like, we could do it better. We're gonna do it better. And time and time again, we've seen with all these MetaZoo offshoots, the same MetaZoo downfall. The same shortcomings have been repeated for one reason or another.
Yeah.
For whatever excuse, at this point, it's just like you said. We want the cards. In Nom Nom's case, in Cryptid Camp's case, we wanted to see the gameplay. They had the cards, they had the shiny cardboard that they stamped X out of 100 on, but we needed to see how to use those cards, and they delivered. They did produce some gameplay, so we kind of saw that. I think Meta 2, they've given us a little fish food, a little morsel with that aura wheel.
I just need to hit.
I just need to see something. I just need to see an entire card. That's all I want.
Yeah, and listen, I think there's room for all these games to succeed. My approach, my philosophy on all of this is that all of these games can win. They can all be successful within their own right. They can't all be Pokemon. They can't all be Pokemon. They can't all be Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh! But if they can just be their authentic selves and deliver on products that people like and engage in a memorable way, I think there's room for all of these IPs to exist. But
and get their piece.
For some reason, it's like it just feels like some of these, like, I'm trying to, I've said like a million times because I'm mincing my words, but it's almost like some folks are allergic to money, and it doesn't make sense to me.
It feels like it sometimes, right?
Yeah. Like, I would be out there doing the most basic stuff right now. And I know everybody's like, oh, here he goes again with the landing page and with the whatever. And I mean, even Obscure, I'd say Obscurids is actually, I talked to John and I helped John with some of the, I guess, copy and layout and formatting of their Kickstarter page. And John's with Obscurids, and he's great to work with because I think he does get it. I think going into this, everybody thinks they can market. Everybody in their heart is a marketer. And I believe that. I think everybody's creative to do what I do and know what I know. There isn't a whole lot of extra steps to get there. It's just the act of doing it, to finding the time to doing it. Do you want to be a game creator? Do you want to be a developer? Do you want to be a CEO? Or do you want to be a guy who's placing ads and doing marketing? These are all different things. And there's only
sure.
Time is finite. So that's why a gig economy exists. You pay people to do things they're really good at, so that way your time is better spent on doing items that are higher lift, right?
Yeah. Or the things that you're good at, right?
Yeah. So
the places where you excel.
Yeah. So instead of you designing your web page, which, let's be frank here, I'm being nice, but it's going to sound like I'm a jerk. You're not going to do a good job building your website. It's not going to look good. If it's your first time,
your first time, no.
Yeah. And I think that time, the hours that you spent on that, hopefully you spent hours. If you didn't, then that might be even more concerning. But let's just say you spent hours on it. That's time that could have gone to building a relationship with another LGS, or actually, making the connections to truly make your game last, building out an OP roadmap or whatever it might be, something that's more operational, that's sustainable to your game. All that's to say, like, I want all these games to succeed. I come across as maybe a little crass at times, but it's just, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, because I see it. I see the same mistakes get made over and over again, and everybody thinks they all conflate MetaZoo's problems with, like, oh, MetaZoo did this bad because XYZ. Mike and Andy were bad. Their personalities were crap, but that's not what made MetaZoo fail. It's what failed. They failed on basic marketing and business fundamentals. Okay, their website was dog water. They had no comms. The only way to communicate was through their Discord on these really weird limited drops that weren't really, there's no growth strategy behind that. There's no newsletter re-engagement. There was no it was basically, their whole website was just a crappy Shopify. The OP was awful. There really was no way to support stores or on-ramp new players or judges. There was just so many things that were operationally poor, that the failure to say it was just their personality, MetaZoo could have survived with those yahoos being jerks.
Oh, 100%.
For a long time, if they could have just done the most basic things to make sure their business would succeed. No. Sorry, I kind of went off on a rant there, but
yeah, you tell them. And that's why we have Meta 2.
Meta 2. So far, Charlie's good. I mean, he's been handling it. There was a LGS owner in the chat today, and they kind of had maybe a poor attitude, but I think Charlie took the high road. Said, "Hey, hope we can win you back. If not, it is what it is."
Yep. Your gripes are valid. We hope to do better for you, but it's gonna happen when it happens, is basically what he said.
We as a community, though, we need to do better and not incite like violence and be like whoo, like a bunch of monkeys.
Witch hunt so quickly.
Yeah. Like, the person that's coming in and voicing these things, I'd say 99% of the time has like a real reason. Every now and then you get the Allens of the world that actually probably should be like, shunned out of there. But in this case, just if they're saying something, they probably have a real reason for saying it. And instead of bandwagoning and saying, hey, let's ban them, that's kind of how it steamrolled into the ban economy of MetaZoo. Like, I was around since day one. Mike wasn't always like a complete ass to people. It just sort of turned into that when he's like, all right, are y'all not entertained? Okay, let me ban this person. Y'all seem to like this.
People will like me.
Yeah, exactly. It's not cool.
Yeah. It's rough, but we're hopeful. We're always hopeful. Like you said, I'm going to buy this first product no matter what. And it's
I'll bet there's no doubt in my mind Charlie's gonna cook on this one. It's just gonna be this set's gonna be awesome. I feel really optimistic about it. Of course, I can't. I'm not willing to go full shill for something that doesn't exist yet. So
I was going to say you haven't seen anything.
yeah,
so-
yeah. I just think he has a good head on his shoulders, and hopefully he's capable of making good decisions. But
We hope so.
we will see. Time will tell.
Hmm.
Drink no evil, according to your beer koozie.
Always.
Got to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I got. I got a little spirited towards the end, but I think that makes it more fun, more interesting.
Yeah, there you go. Got to watch till the end. Listen till the end.
Yeah.
Hear the crazy rant.
Sorry, guys. No slurs in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe in the premium episode. Patreon coming soon.
You got to hop on Whatnot for that one.
You got to hop in the MetaZoo main Discord for that one.
Yeah. No, sir. Not on this Giddm Games Stacking the Deck podcast.
Oh.
All right, y'all. Well, thanks for tuning in. Kurt, it's good catching up with you again this week. I'll see you tomorrow at Bar Locals.
Always.
And